If you're looking for one of the most sold sport hatchbacks in the world, then this might be the car for you. Because it's sold over 2.3 million times in its lifespan, the Golf GTI, and now we get a new variant, the 8.5. And we don't have the basic GTI variant standing here, we have the Clubsport variant, the most powerful variant from the GTI, and you can even see that because we have these stripes here on this side, which indicate we have a Clubsport. And compared to the normal GTI, the Clubsport gets a different front design. The GTI gets an X design here, and we get this little design here. We also get new headlights, which now are 15% stronger, so they have a range up to 500 kilometers. Whoa! 500 meters with their high beams, and they are also the IQ lights that we have installed in here. The new Volkswagen logo is also now illuminated in the front at night. You can now pick up new 19-inch rims, which are forged rims, which are quite nice because they're 8 kilograms lighter, so good for the track, being around 20% lighter. We also have on here, well, winter tires, and they don't look too great with the rims, but you can also pick up summer tires, which are semi-slicks. The Clubsport variant also gets a bigger roof spoiler than the normal GTI variant. And the main thing that you see on the back is that you can get the Akrapovic exhaust system on here, which we do have, which do sound quite nice, but they will cost you 4,000 euros extra, and we also get a different diffuser than the GTI variant. Let's do a quick sound check. And the engine which we have in here is the EA888 Evo 4 engine, EA Sports. It's in the game. 300 horsepower, 400 Newton meters, 0 to 100 in 5.6 seconds with a top speed of 250 kilometers an hour. We have the performance package in here, meaning we can actually go up to 267 kilometers. We've actually reached 270 as the tachometer, but GPS obviously is always different. And we also have a 7-speed DSG gearbox in here. But let's see how quick it actually is from 0 to 100 with winter tires. And now it's time for our world famous 0 to 100 test. For that, we're going to go into sport and then into special, because that is, you can tell, the most special thing that you can do in this car. And then we are going to also go up here, and I've programmed this to go to ESC, which I'm going to put on to off. And then I gotta confirm it in the digital cockpit. And it is a little bit damp here on the road, but not too much. I've put a race box up on the top here to see what we can actually get here from 0 to 100 with winter tires. Claimed is 5.6 seconds. Let's activate launch control and see how it goes. Okay, that is very damped. There was no traction at all there. And we still got 6.43. You can see in the back, it was very wet there. And we're gonna try it this way because it doesn't look as damped right there. Yeah, just no traction at all. But still better, we got 5.69. Oh wow, okay, for a start where there was basically no traction for the first like 0.2 seconds maybe, that actually was fairly decent. So 5.69, not bad for a front-wheel drive system here. Starting price of the Golf GTI Clubsport is 49,820 euros. The way it's standing here, we're going to be looking at 62,340 euros, because we do have a couple of extras. If you want to pick up the Golf R, that is going to cost you around 4,000 to 5,000 euros extra, so around 54,000 euros in the starting price. Video on the top right corner of the 8.5 R, if you do want to check that video out as well. And the color on here is the Urano gray color, which is one of the standard colors that you can pick up. The GTI is also obviously here on the side. The car is going to be 4 meters and 29 long. We get automatically foldable side mirrors with keyless entry and keyless go. If you close the car, you will obviously see that is going to fold in. We also have the option to get rear tinted windows, which we do have in this car selected. With the Mark 8.5, we also get new rear lights. For the GTI Clubsport, you cannot pick up a towing hook. However, for the R variant, you can, and also the normal GTI. So if you do want to have a towing hook, you will definitely need to pick one of those up. The trunk capacity in here is 374 liters, up to 1,230 if we flip over all of the rear seats. We do have a 40-60 split in here. And we also have a center tunnel, which we can actually flip over, as you can see there. So we can put some skis through there, or your golf set. However, that is going to be a tight squeeze. And here we also get some more space, and we also have the subwoofer in there. Join me in the back of the Golf GTI Clubsport, and we actually have quite a decent amount of space. I'm 1.80 meters tall, 5'11", and the seat in front of me is also quite squishy, so I can't put my knees in there, but I really don't have to because the seat is adjusted to me in the front, and I have plenty of space here. Footroom is also quite plenty of enough, and I am sitting quite low in the front as well. We do get a very big center tunnel in here, so it is going to be a little more painful to sit in the center. We also have climatization in the back here. The car is not turned on, but it is a touch sensitive button here with our own climate zone here. We can also look at the headroom, where you could theoretically pick up a panoramic window in here, or a sunroof, and I still got quite a decent amount of space. So I'm sitting up straight. I have around 5 centimeters of space there. The seats also have that typical red design with the Clubsport and also the elements that you find in the front grille, which looks quite nice and also feels quite nice. These are very comfortable to sit in. Let's look at the quality here on the side. Up on the top you get some harder plastic. You can see here, quite scratchy, as well as here. Nice material on all around here on this panel, and also where you put your elbow. Then this is going to be again a little bit more hard plastic, as well as down here. We get some felts in the bottle holder on this side. Like I said, we do also have that center tunnel, and we can also flip it over for an armrest where we get 2 cup holders and a very, I never know what they actually use this really tiny one for like a shot glass or something. I really can't tell you what they use that for, but then again, you can also flip this over. And now join me in the inside of the Golf GTI Clubsport, where we can see we now get that big infotainment display as well in here, which also gets the MIB4, which is the latest infotainment system platform kind of software that they have in here, which is actually quite smooth. It is definitely better than the older versions. You know, we always had that problem where it was not the fastest. We have IDA in here, or IDA, which has ChatGPT integrated into it, Air Console, where you can play some games, and we also have Spotify integrated in here. And we also have navigation in here, which depends on kind of if you have Discovery or Pro, whatever it's called. The one does not get navigation, the other one does get that navigation in here. Works quite nicely as well. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wireless connection. We get an inductive charging space down there where we can put our phone in. I always don't like to do it too much. We have some quick buttons down here for assist, climate control modes, and also your park mode. You can see here a full 360-degree camera with also park assist, so the car can park on its own theoretically. We get these carbon inlets in here, which I do think is an extra you do have to pick up. And we also have these standard seats in here, so the GTI variant seats with the red stitching. You can also get these kind of white ones. In the inside, we get a little bit of storage space on the bottom here. We also get cup holders here in the front, and also a 12-volt. Geez, that I don't think has ever been opened in the lifespan of this car, which honestly isn't too long. Our small buttons on the bottom here. Steering wheel looks quite nice. We get the red stitching, typical for the GTI. Before I was actually driving this car, I was driving the Peugeot 5008, and I stepped in here, I was like, oh wow, this is a massive steering wheel. But that is just because the Peugeot one is so small, but it feels really nice as steering wheel. I just do love the GTI variants steering wheel, in general, the Volkswagen steering wheels, with now, obviously, here we get our physical buttons, which they reverted once they were using for the touch sensitive buttons, which didn't turn out too great, and not many people liked it. You can theoretically also do an emotional start. Let's actually quickly do that. You hold down the start button for 2 seconds, and then the brake pedal, and then it goes up to 2,500 RPMs, which is quite nice. Let's start driving the car. We do have auto hold in here, and we also have electrical parking brake and stuff like that. Heads-up display we get, which is quite nice. I always do like my heads-up display because that allows me to just not really have to look down at the digital cockpit. I can just look at the heads-up display, which is always nice. Digital cockpit, we can change a couple of views. We can, for instance, press on the steering wheel here on views. We get that GTI variant one, we get the normal one, and we also have one with our assists, and on the back we can obviously have that. You can also go through on the left here, for instance, go down and change a couple of things here. And that new e-warning assistant and stuff like that, you can quite easily turn off. On the top, we have the car symbol. We have start, stop. I'm going to turn off lane assist, driver monitor, and also the lane this e-warning assist you can turn off right there. When we're driving here in the town, the car is quite good. I mean, I'm sitting here in comfort right now. You can obviously notice the bumps. It is not going to be the most comfortable suspension that you can pick up, but it is still a suspension that just has a lot of variety. Even the comfort is quite nice, and then change it over to the more sporty setting with the adaptive, or the DCC in here. That is quite a flexible amount that you can change between it. And obviously, because the car is not big, 4.29 meters, it is going to be a very good car for the city. I mean, it's the same car basically as a Golf, just with some more performance and different optics. And you can also hear the engine or the exhaust just in the comfort. But in the comfort mode, that is going to allow you to just have a lot more flexibility in the city as well. You get that same space usage as the Golf, and finding a parking spot is not going to be a problem in here. Just like that normal Golf right there. And the turning circle of the car is also 12 meters, which isn't the smallest, but also isn't too bad. I mean, even in comfort, that exhaust really comes to life. And then, you know, you get out of the city and then you just want to accelerate. I mean, it's a quite quick acceleration there from in comfort mode. And the different drive modes we have in here, we can press on there, Sport. And I want to go into the special one because that is the most sportiest setting and optimized for the Nordschleife. And the car really does sound good, and it just opens up the valves so loud and keeps the RPMs at a very high threshold, which is always quite nice. And then you can really feel that suspension just being stiffened up and giving you a way more direct feeling. You're really connected to the road if you're driving like this. Let me also accelerate here just so we can see the bar that we actually get. 2.1 bar is actually what we get. Okay, that is quite nice. You were fairly close with your 2 bar. But yeah, I mean, listen to that sound. That is, in my opinion, really cool. You mainly actually hear the intake in the front there and the engine just... And I do think there is a little bit of fake sound integrated in there because it does seem a little bit too loud. If I'm even accelerating just a little bit. It seems a little bit too loud, but still, it sounds actually really good here. And that gearbox is also really quick, that 7-speed DSG gearbox. I personally do like driving a Sport a little bit more than the Special because Special really doesn't shift up or shift down. It never shifts down, I should say. These are some quite bumpy roads, so we can actually see, I mean, you can really feel every single bump there, and now it just is perfect, nice road. We do only have a front-wheel drive system in here. The Golf R would obviously get that all-wheel drive system, but still the stability in here is really good. If you're obviously in some wetter situation, then the Golf R is going to be the car that is going to be a little bit better in those situations and give you more grip. But just how planted this car is to the ground, how sporty it reacts to your throttle input, and how responsive it is really good. And the GTI really does an amazing job in these corners. There's one really quick one coming up here in a second, which I really do want to take a little bit quicker. We obviously have winter tires on here, and if we would now have those semi-slicks on here, the car would feel amazing around these corners. Even here, the body lean and stuff like that really isn't that much, and it does an amazing job just being able to drive fast. So let's go up here and turn in here a little bit faster. There's a little, the back is coming out a little bit. You can feel it's a little bit light on the back there, but otherwise that is really amazing how easy it is to drive around here with really minimal input or correction having to be inputted in here. It feels really good.
And it's even lighter.
Huh?
It's lighter than the normal Golf GTI.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, like I said, 100 kilograms lighter than the Golf R. That is the thing. You have, in the Golf R is going to give you 33 horsepower more, but also 100 kilograms more. And there, really, maybe even on the track, I mean, on the track, the Nordschleife for the Golf R is really fast, but even this does a really good time on there. And maybe even those 100 kilograms, you might notice them quite decently. When we were driving the Golf R, do you feel much of a difference in the weight? I mean, 100 kilograms is not that much, so you can't really tell that too much. And then those 33 horsepower do obviously add to the difference there.
Yeah, and the all-wheel drive system.
Yeah, all-wheel drive system is obviously, you definitely notice that as well. Just the more traction that you get. But even this here is really good. Let's go into the Sport mode just real quick and just look at some upshifts here. If I, for instance, shift down now, look at how quick that is. Let me do that again. Let's shift one more down and then shift up. I'm gonna do it now. Okay, and now, I mean, that is really quick. That's a really quick gearbox, which is quite nice and really allows you to just drive this a little bit more sporty. You can also do it manually if you theoretically want to.
Yeah, but one thing I don't understand is why do you put like this little shift pedal?
Yeah, I know.
What the fuck?
And out of plastic.
It's the same like the Volkswagen T7, like the bus one.
Yeah.
Has.
Did you know that the Volkswagen T7 has launch control?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it does. but I really do love this sound. What I am gonna do is we're gonna cut back to here, to me actually driving this car on the Autobahn just to see how quick that is as well, and the sound isolation. So sadly I did forget to bring my camera onto the Autobahn test. I just want to show you what my values were for our consumption, because since the last time I refueled this, I drove on the Autobahn with around 200 kilometers an hour as my speedometer, or cruise control set to, and I got a consumption of 10.5 liters. What I was really surprised by is how fast this car gets up to its top speed of those 272 with the tachometer, and it gets around that speed, and it actually is still very well isolated in this car, which I really do like, and it actually sounds quite decent in the inside. Long term we got 9.3 liters. I did drive around 160 on the way back from Frankfurt up to Kassel, and there I got a consumption of around 8.1 liters, so again, not bad. So what is my final verdict on the Golf GTI Clubsport? I really do like the car. It is very fun to drive, especially with the Akrapovic exhaust system. It also sounds pretty cool. Design elements I always love on the GTI, for instance the badge here on the side. The red elements always look quite nice, even on the seats and the inside, always quite cool. It is still a car that offers you quite a decent amount of comfort while also giving you a very performance-based system and drivetrain, which is very fun, especially with the DCC adaptive suspension. You will be able to just adjust it to your liking and really change between comfort and also sport. If you do have a little bit more money, then you might want to pick up the R variant just for that extra horsepower, 333 horsepower, and also the all-wheel drive system. However, the car is also going to weigh in at 100 kilograms more, so you might feel a little bit of a difference there, but the car is just a little bit more powerful. You can also now pick up the Golf GTI Clubsport Edition 50, which in my opinion looks absolutely fantastic, and if I'm not mistaken, 325 horsepower, so basically an R variant without the all-wheel drive variant. What do you think of the Golf GTI Clubsport? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.